Jake Paul taking on Ben Askren in the boxing ring. Sounds crazy. Anyway, let's dissect this for a minute. This is absolutely one of the most interesting fights. I don't care whether you like it or not. A lot of people are giving out in the boxing world. You know, they're literally, he's a YouTuber and that's it. That's their take on the fight. And I see Dana White as well. He's just calling Jake Paul YouTuber this, YouTuber that. And Ben Askren is a martial artist all his life, an Olympian, and just a really all-around great athlete. Now, yes, on paper, let's be real. Let's look at it. Yes, Jake Paul has come up and made himself a YouTube superstar, following all over the world, 30 or 40 million followers, and yeah, really spent his life doing that. Let's look at Ben Askren. Ben is someone who has been competing all his life, really wrestling at all the top fucking levels, and being in many organizations. Yes, he in the UFC things went against him, but he was a champion in other organizations. Yeah, he's probably more famous nowadays for Jorge Masvidal knocking him out inside 5 seconds with a flying knee, which is one of the most brutal knockouts if you've ever seen. But anyway, let's move on and actually talk about this fight. So I can't believe I'm going to actually say this, but Jake Paul can box. I have watched his sparring footage. I have watched him training. He is not just a YouTuber, a normal YouTuber boxing. This guy 3 years ago went away and dedicated his life to boxing. He has been training with none other than Sugar Shane Mosley, one of the fucking hardest fucking welterweights ever. And yeah, had a nearly fucking knocked Floyd Mayweather's lights out in a round. They had a round, was one of the best rounds I've ever seen in boxing. Yes, Floyd Money Mayweather then showed how good he was to make adjustments and beat him comfortably in the end. But Jake Paul has been training with the likes of these guys, and they have been saying, and I seen Sab Judah saying on an interview, that this guy can throw down. So I don't think Jake Paul is your typical YouTuber boxer. He is dedicated solely to boxing for the last 3 years. And I do think he's going to shock people how good he actually is. He has power in his hands. He has good movement. He's still a bit rusty in places, but he's learning every day. I watched a video of him sparring and things. Yeah, he's knocking out guys. No one knows who they are. They could be just anybody. But the one thing that you cannot deny is power. He is showing power. When he had that fight with Nate Robinson. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's talk real here. Nate Robinson is yes, he's an athlete in his own right in basketball. But when we're talking about the fight game, anybody who is typically able to fight should beat Nate Robinson. But he did put his fucking lights out with a very clever counter when Nate Robinson was bull rushing him. So already Jake Paul has shown me some skills and yeah, some calmness under a bull rush attack from albeit a basketball player. So let's just touch on Ben Askren. Like, Ben Askren is going to be a different beast than anybody Jake Paul has ever faced. He's going to come forward. He's going to rough up Jake Paul. He's obviously going to try and get in his face, hit him. You know, I'd say he's going to probably out-bully him in there, I think. But I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think Jake Paul has too much boxing skill for Ben Askren. Yes, I know Ben Askren is a grappler and he's unbelievable, but lads, let's face it, he's striking. He's a UFC fighter. His career is finished in the UFC, let's face that. But he is a fucking world champion in mixed martial arts. But his striking is nowhere near the level of even a Jake Paul, and Jake Paul is a YouTuber. Everybody calls him a YouTuber. I genuinely am going to say I believe in Jake Paul. I've watched his videos and I think he's a fighter. Would you believe that? I think he's a fighter at heart, and I watched him move and box on the bags, and I watched the training. His cardio is brilliant. The one thing that would worry me is, let's say Askren does become a bit elusive and drowns Jake a bit, tries to drown Jake Paul a bit, and drag the fight out a little bit. Then it'll be interesting to see what Jake has at this stage of his career. But I'd have no issue saying if Jake Paul had a few fights and his cardio was tested and improved on, or his conditioning was improved on, and maybe his conditioning is perfect. We just don't know yet until we see him tested. But obviously he's in against somebody that has an engine. Ben Askren he could fight for weeks, you know, so it's definitely an interesting fight. But I genuinely believe Jake Paul is a lot more than a YouTube, and I think people are discrediting him, and I think Dana White as well coming out saying he has no chance, and Ben Askren, he'll bet €1 million. Yes, Ben Askren would maul Jake Paul on the street anywhere. He would kill him. But in a boxing ring, I can't believe I'm going to pick a guy that has 2 fights or 3 fights, 2 professional fights or whatever, over a guy that has a multi-decorated career and is an Olympian and a world champion in mixed martial arts. But this is boxing. This is not mixed martial arts. Boxing is an art form. And I really think Jake Paul has a lot to offer in the sport. And I think I'm going to say this, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think Jake Paul can really outbox him and mess up Ben Askren. I really do in a boxing match. I think the referee is going to save Jake. Ben can't, like they say, the clinch and the grappling. You can't keep clinching. This is a boxing match. It's against the rules. The referee will break it, and he'll give you a warning. He'll take points off if you carry on to clinch and rough it up or rabbit punch, any of that stuff. It's a boxing match. I think Jake Paul can stay on the outside. He's a bigger man. He has a bigger reach, and he definitely is technically way better as a boxer of Ben Askren. Does he have the stamina, heart, and the mindset of what Ben Askren would have to survive? Like, it's hard to know. But if Jake Paul does have that engine, does have that cardio, I really believe he is a lot more than a YouTuber and can be a force in boxing. I can't believe I'm going to say that, but he's only a young guy. He's taking the sport serious. This guy can throw down. He has hands. It's going to be interesting. I think it's the 18th of April. It could be the 17th in America late night, but it could be our Sunday morning early. But yeah, make sure and tune in. I'm going to watch it, lads. I don't care if it's a YouTuber versus an MMA guy or whatever in a boxing match. This is an interesting fight. It's the perfect fight for Jake Paul at this time of his career. And imagine if a YouTuber, so they call him, which I think that's unfair. I think he is a professional boxer now at this stage. Yes, he has not fought anyone of near the caliber of even close to a professional fighter, but he is training day in, day out in the boxing gym, and he's going to start fighting guys. As he said, he wants to take MMA guys into the boxing ring and show them up. Now, MMA for me is one of the toughest motherfucking sports, and I seen him calling out Conor McGregor. He has been calling out McGregor. Listen, Jake Paul, I think you're good, but stay away from Conor McGregor till you get at least another 15 fights, or he will knock your lights to fuck out. But I do believe Jake Paul can beat Ben Askren. Tune in, lads. Listen, we'll cover this a bit closer to the fight. It's fucking interesting. You have to admit it. You have a YouTuber kid that everyone calling out UFC multi-decorated fighters. So let's look into it. I'm going to watch it 100%. I'm not going to miss it. And I genuinely believe if Jake Paul's engine can hold up any adversity in the fight, I think he can outbox him. I really do. I think he can bust him up. I really do. And I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to predict a Jake Paul win by stoppage. I can't believe that, but I really think he can finish him, and that is nuts from me. And yeah, he's taking on a multi-Olympian, but this guy, lads, Trust me, he is not your typical YouTuber. He can box, he can move, he can bang. And Ben Askren can't. Yeah, he can grapple, he can wrestle, he can throw you down, but his striking is fucking terrible. I think he's going to get shown up really, really bad, lads. I really do. And I think he's going to get put away. And Dana White is betting €1 million on him. Yeah, if you give me $1 million to bet and say outlast Jake Paul, yeah, he could probably outlast him. But by mark my words, he can't outbox him. Anyway, that's my opinion. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Don't miss it. I think it's in Atlanta. I'm not too sure, but I think it's at the Falcon Stadium. We'll see. I'll double check that out, but tune in and watch it. I'm going to watch it as well. It's an interesting fight, because if he can get through Ben Askren, Lord, who's next? Like, you know, it'll be funny who he calls out. Anyway, this is Mad Murrigan. For more sports coverage, like and subscribe. Cheers. The time for codding is over.